Running your own events is a great way of picking up more gigs as a DJ, but from venues, security and promotions, there's a lot to take into consideration. Hello, what's up YouTube, and welcome to this episode of Road to Professional DJ. In this episode, I'm going to go through a step-by-step guide as to how you can run your own events. As I say, running your own event is a fantastic way of picking up more gigs as an up-and-coming club DJ. It's a great way of getting your name out there, and it's actually a great way of networking as well, because you can get some of the other known DJs in the area to come and play your events, which is going to boost your profile, boost your networking, and keep you getting those all-important DJ gigs. So I wanted to go through all the steps because, to be honest, it's a bit of a minefield out there, and when you're first looking at running events, if you haven't got someone there to help guide you through it, it's going to feel like there's a lot and it might actually put you off. I don't want this to put you off. I want this to be the sort of thing that you're happy to give a go. But there's a few things to take into consideration, and that definitely starts with actually what is your concept. This is the very first place you need to start. What is your concept? For me, I run electronic music dance nights at clubs or in gardens in the city of Southampton. I'm also looking to expand, but that's my main concept. So I brand that towards a house, techno or disco group of people, and that's my concept. This is what I'm starting off with, and I have to make decisions starting from my concept so I know what venues to book, how to promote it, how to market. So firstly, get your concept. What is your concept? That is the first place to start. After you've done that, you need to get yourself a venue. Now, for gig number one, don't go booking the biggest venue in town because it's probably not going to work. You'd rather start off small and have a full gig or a sold out gig than go too big and have an empty gig, because those people are going to remember their experience of that gig. If it was a small, intimate gig and you know what, it was busy, it was a great atmosphere, you're 10 times better off doing that than you would be booking the biggest venue in town and having it empty. So how do you approach venues? Well, you can go through your social medias in your local area, look at what clubs are on there and just send them messages. See if there is any opportunity to hire that venue. You might even notice they've had events at their venues before, but there is no harm in asking. You will then of course have to build yourself some business terms. Now that can change depending on what club you're going to. Normally I operate a system where I keep the door money, i.e. the revenue people pay to get in and out of the club, and the club takes the bar money. That's a very standard way of working. Sometimes there may also be a higher fee for that venue. For example, it may cost £300, £500 or even £1,000 or even more if it's a massive club to book the venue. Now often they'll do that because there's quite high risk them getting you in to play that night. You know, if your event flops, they're going to open their doors and they're going to have paid for their security, potentially, the people on the bar, etc. And they need to cover their risks. So that may be a case, but don't forget as well, you're potentially bringing customers through their door. So you should have a little bit of weight in the negotiations as well. Once you found yourself a venue, the next best place to start, in my opinion, is what DJs are going to play. Let's assume you're playing. I wouldn't play for the entire night for a few reasons. Number one, you might need to be around to help organise a few things, so you probably can't play from the beginning to the end. Secondly, if you get some more DJs involved, they can naturally bring a few of their mates. Now, I don't mean that you're setting unnecessary targets to bring people, although that does happen in the industry. I mean, the more people you've got, there's going to be a little bit more of an organic reach. Often, people have mates that want to come see them play. So maybe take that into consideration if you are running these events, because ultimately, you need to fill the dance floors. So pick in some DJs which are going to pull the crowd in. Whether you put a lot of pressure onto that or not is probably a wise decision. Now we're looking at the marketing. You've got to have some marketing available for this gig so that you can reach out to people and actually try and encourage them to come. So you probably need to design some artwork. Here's some ones I've used before, And these are really good to be able to plaster around on social media. It's going to help people come down. You can also turn these pieces of artwork into posters and start sticking this around the town. With these little marketing efforts, you're going to be able to let people know what gig you've got going on and get more opportunity for more people to be coming to your gigs. This could then be the start of a brand for you. You could keep on running these gigs, keep doing these promos, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a night reoccurring, and that is going to be foundation. That the big foundation of that is going to be your marketing. Right, so you're gonna need to promote the marketing that you've made. You're gonna have to promote your event. You are now essentially a promoter. I fell into this. I didn't realise I was gonna be a DJ. Well, I didn't realise I was gonna be a DJ. I certainly didn't realise I was gonna be a promoter, but I have turned into a promoter. So you're gonna have to promote your night. Well, how can you do that? Firstly, you need to get your artwork and you can plaster it everywhere on social media. You can make an event on Facebook and invite people to it. You can hang up posters. You can also tap into the social media that the club has got. Ask them to become a host on your event. Ask them to spread some social media posts as well, advertising your event. You're then maybe going to want to have flyers, and you can hand out, if your event is on a Friday night, the weekend before, go around giving out flyers for your event, advertising it the next week. Talk to people, drag people down. You're going to have to also, on the ground, get your mates to come along and get them to bring their mates. This is the sort of small little marginal gains you can make in different areas and start picking up a few people, so all of a sudden you've got a bit of a crowd coming to your event. You can never ever do enough promotion, honestly. Even if your gigs are selling out, just promote, because you're better off doing that than you are not promoting enough and no one arriving. So make sure you promote lots. On the day, there might be quite a lot of things that you need to do or you might need to take into consideration. For example, the bar, I would advise, if you're doing this at any venues, allow the venue to sort out their own security. One, because it's a cost you don't have to worry about. Number two, it's a whole legal pit, you just don't want to get involved in that. Get them to sort out the security. If you think you can manage and you can cope, go for it. But if you're renting a venue, let them sort it. Okay, that would be my suggestion. If you haven't got the bar, then fine. You can let them organise that as well. Often venues will say, "Can you bring someone to work on the door?" So this is something you need to take into consideration. Someone that's actually getting the revenue as you come in. The reason venues do that is because I'm sure in the lifetime of the venue there's been issues between the money made on the door and the bars. I wouldn't necessarily that's a sign of a bad venue. It could also be the sign of bad promoters, but it's also business. They don't really want to be touching your money because they don't want to get caught in any sticky situations. And to be honest, do you really want them to be touching your money as well? It could reduce risk, so that might be the best thing to do. You could counter that by having a free event, which I would recommend to try and get some fresh blood down to your events and things like that. So that could be an idea. That could save having that person on the door because the security, of course, will be the ones checking IDs. Also, on the event, you might have to consider insurance. Discuss this with the club. There is a chance you're going to have to be insured to have people in on these gigs. But there are lots of insurance websites, event insurance and things like that, which you can do. You can get the proper legal advice. And to be honest, they're not always that expensive, especially if the venue is small. So, in a nutshell, that is how you run your own events. Now, if you have got any questions, do put them in the comments below. I will keep an eye and make sure I answer any potential questions or things that I haven't quite covered. But in a nutshell, that's how you can be running your own events. I've been running my own events for a year now. I must have done about 10, 15, 20 events now. So I do have quite good experience as to how you run these events. I've booked DJs. I've had famous DJs play for me, from the Shapeshifters to Ferric Dawn, which was literally just last night on the videoing of this event. I would say running your own events is a fantastic way of getting more DJ gigs. You should really consider it if you're at a point where you're trying to get more gigs and you're struggling. And it is also great for your network, because when you're seen as a key player in your local town and you're bringing DJs in, the other DJs are going to want to play for you. Therefore, you've got something of value to some of the key players, the key DJs in your local industry. It really is a fantastic way of networking and becoming a more important person in your local scene. So, that just about ties it up. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did find it of any value, please do give it a thumbs up, and of course do subscribe for more good stuff coming soon. Cheers.